welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft with me, Lucy. Hi, we're quite high up today, but apparently we've been beaten by a villager, somehow making their way up that tree. They're just running around wild recently. Ever since I gave out that massive amount of bread to the town hall, all the baby villagers have left, and now they've grown up and are doing things, and we got especially lucky. A little bit of a lag spike there. We got especially lucky because we ended up getting two baby villagers coming up these stairs themselves, and I found them stuck here at the store, so I let them in. I let them in here, and now we have two brand new cartographers, which is actually insanely lucky. Had to not work at all for these, except for remove that trapdoor and then replace it. I feel like we're gonna lose a horse if this persists. Hello? Please, can you go to safety? Oh dear. Up this way. Up. Here we go. I need to start using these horse pens. I'm really bad at using them, and I'm also really bad at finding a way to get to places with a horse. Now let's pop this guy here. This is my permanent scaffolding that I use for my 2x2 trees, like jungle trees and spruce trees and all that good stuff, when I'm chopping wood. And I quite often just sit here and think about life. No, I don't actually. But I do come up here and I take a good look around and admire everything I've built so far. And see this. What have I done here? Did you think the castle is finished? Yeah, the inside maybe. Two really big problems here for me. First, the line of torches, which were placed by necessity to stop things spawning there, look absolutely awful from afar. And also, and somehow, this is the world's most obvious line of where a build finished and another one was tacked on. Look at that. I think it actually looks worse than it is though, because this big line of tuff is just tough stairs that are holding up the wood pillars, which I completely forgot to add underneath the log there. So yeah, that looks pretty bad. And thirdly, this whole area could use a bit of love. So we're gonna focus on that today. I need to get ready for the wall, and I think I'm gonna start building this episode, but I don't want to make the whole episode about building the wall because unfortunately I think that's just gonna be very boring. It's just a very repetitive thing to do, right? I don't even know how much I'll be able to get done of it for this episode, but we definitely need to start planning it out and covering up some of this really ugly terrain. I mean, I left the wool there. That's quite bad by me. And also this farm here, the what are these called? Kelp? Yeah. We had a chicken stuck in there for ages, I think, and a sheep that fell in, and by the looks of it, a wandering trader's llama fell in, which is not ideal. And I think we have some kelp stuck in this hopper above. So we're gonna need to think about what we do with this farm as well. How are we gonna cover it up if at all? Because it is at this very awkward spot. And although the view from the quote-unquote tree farm is pretty bad, it does not beat this view. Yikes! Somehow I feel like this looks even worse. This is so obvious that it's floating on air. Oh man, I need to fix that. I kind of do want to get started on it because I do really love this waterfall I built ages ago. And I'm gonna have to get rid of at least the top level of it, I think. Just 3 buddies hanging out on an anvil. One more buddy. Yes, you. Desperately looking out the window. Oh, trader farmer guy has made a friend. Very good friends by the looks of it. Oh dear. What's going on? Why are they just in the most random of places? How did they get there? They're multiplying. There's so many of them. What have I done? I threw 2 stacks of bread at the villagers and there's so many of them. A little bit of thinking, and what I think I'm gonna do is I'm going to have the wall come from this tower over to this tower, but we're not actually going to have a wall, I don't think, going around the castle. Instead, it's going to, well, end there at the tower and then begin anew on that kind of corner edge, or maybe we'll build another tower to kind of add on to that bit there. But I think you can get away with it looking fine. Now, you would want your big castle protected, and that's why you would get a wall. But if we make this into a fairly steep cliff face, I think it's gonna look fine. It's going to look like it was too difficult to put a wall there. Yeah? I think we can get away with that. So that's a lot of terraforming to do. And also, I think I'll probably need to get rid of this bit here in the middle, or at least make it steeper, make it actually look like quite an intimidating cliff face. The image that comes to mind for me is, if anyone's ever played Skyrim, I assume people have played Skyrim. There's that city called Solitude, and it sits on a quite impressive cliff face, and in my brain, the image I have of Solitude is not one that you would pull off Google Maps. Google Maps? No, of Google Images. It's not actually very realistic. I'm imagining something that I played a very long time ago, and it's kind of this. Oh, that window needs to go out by one. It's this kind of like nostalgic version of it. When I looked at it for the very first time and looked and felt a lot more impressive than it actually does nowadays. If I were to launch Skyrim or look at images of it online, it doesn't look quite like the image I have in my brain. It's not quite as impressive, but that very first time I made my way into that city, it honestly stole my breath. I was like, this is one of the coolest things that have ever been made. And we're gonna try to get that cliff face kind of rocky look to this around here. I've got some materials prepped out. I've got a lot of grass, but thinking about it, I probably aren't going to use it that much of it. Let's pat this back up. Because now when I think about Solitude, it's a lot more rocks than grass, and that's why I also didn't bring in much dirt. Because we don't want to use dirt. We want to get rid of a lot of this brown here, I think, and convert it fully into tough stone, andesite, and I've even got a bit of mud for this darker color. We got mossy cobble. I might bring in some deep slate as well. But I think the first thing to do is kind of mark out the shape I want. So I want the rocky bits kind of sticking out a bit. We're gonna start from the top here. I'm gonna build up a little walkway for myself, to be honest. So it's a bit easier to build around here. But we're gonna try to bring in some organic shapes. I left my ender chest below. Oh dear. And I also need a quick way up here. To be honest, guys, I have this little wind charge thing, but it's quite hard to use. And I'm quite open to the idea of a secret entrance here somewhere. I know we've got a secret entrance from the bee farm, but it's a one-way thing. In fact, I guess I could use this, but I want something different. I want a little secret entrance where maybe you go under the water here somehow. And if you follow the stream, it takes you up to a water elevator, and then you can take that up into the castle. So I think I'm going to get that done first, because I'll be using that to go up and down a lot. Right here in the castle, over here, looks like a perfect spot to start digging up a little secret tunnel. Let's go for stone just now. We're going to need this completely cased in, so the water doesn't run down everywhere. There we go. I think I quite like the spot where it came out kind of naturally. I wasn't planning too much around it, but that's a good spot. So let's put the this thingy was called soul sand there. Fill her up with some ice. And now all you gotta do is just mine down. And voila! Great. I'm gonna need to sort out the bottom side of it as well. Whee! Because here the water's kind of flowing in and out, which makes it quite difficult to get into. I also probably need a light in here. Going back to this build here to make like a rocky cliff face, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not good at organic. shapes in Minecraft. I quite like things quite neat, I think. But I don't think we'll get away with perfect squares here for our rocky cliff face. So I'm just putting down blocks and trying to make it look like it's not artificial. Alright, attempt one. And what's really sticking out to me here is maybe the overuse of deep slate. If we go a bit further away, how does the shape look? Because it's kind of hard to see the shape from this angle. Yeah, something about this. It's just not screaming cliff. Definitely think too much deep slate. Let's try putting in some stone. Too much dark colors on the top, I think. Try putting in some stone and just keep building and see what happens. So what's really helped here, I think, is bringing the stone down into the lower levels of the cliff here. It looks so jaggedy. Oh, it looks way too random. I need to sort of round out the edges on a lot of these blocks, I think. It looks weird. I can't say I'm a big fan. Let's have a look. See? Oh boy. Right. So I'm getting into a bad habit here, I think, because the first thing that pops into my mind when I see all of this is what a mess the textures are. Maybe I'm going a bit too ham on the texturing. This probably doesn't need as much as I'm giving it. It probably doesn't need that. But let's try to ignore the textures for a bit. It's going to be very hard. Can I get a different angle on this? No, the big bee farm is in the way. The big tree. I love my tree, but it is in the way. Oh, it's so hard to get a good view of this thing. And maybe that is a blessing in disguise. Maybe that is a blessing in disguise because it means that there's very few angles that this needs to look good from. Oh, we're working on it. We are working on it. Right now it's not giving cliff. It's not giving cliff face. It's giving blocks. What I think I'm gonna do is actually start demolishing a bit of this grass here. I'm really hoping this will help me get a better view whee, of what's going on. Because we have a look here. So much there's so much space here for the cliff that is grass. It needs to go. Looks good from the top down though, for what it's worth. You know, I'm kind of of the belief that getting rid of this grass is going to expose more stone for me to work with, and that's less stone I need to place. I firmly believe someday I'm going to have a project that will require all this dirt and grass, and I'm totally not hoarding it for no reason. Tore down a lot of that cliff there. Let's go have a little look. And you'll see exactly what I mean. We still have this little here, but a lot of this stuff, including the floating tree, has been stripped down to the stone underneath. It looks even more like a mess now. But this gives us a very good, template to work from to bring out this cliff face here. This is going to be a bit more of a gentle hill compared to like the sheer drops we have on this side. Primarily because I can't be bothered to tear down a lot of this stone. Let's have a look. Okay, that guy in the painting gave me such a fright there. The cliff though doesn't look too bad. Let's see. It's a lot better from this angle than it used to be. Let's go up the tree farm. Oh man, it's really coming together. So what I went ahead and did is I removed a lot of the tuff there. I probably need to remove this section of tuff as well. And kind of just stuck with the darker blocks here, and I think it helps to make it look less messy. Another problem I was running into is because we use so much stone andesite and tuff in the walls of the castle itself, from certain angles the walls and like the cliff are kind of blending together to more of an extent than here. Here this is kind of on purpose actually to kind of look like it was built out of the wall. But over there and around the other side, that wasn't the plan and it was kind of blending together. So to make up for the lack of texture that only using deep slate and mud was causing, I found a couple stacks of just normal deep slate, not cobble deep slate. And I think it adds a little touch without it being too much. Let's go look from the other side as well. In the few minutes it took me to walk over, it started raining, but hopefully you guys can still see through YouTube compression that it's looking a lot better by reducing the amount of blocks I was using. And I kind of tried to keep the mud to kind of the curve there, to keep it more of a shadowy look. I think I need to get rid of that random stone block, it's still left over there, and there's some andesite at the top. But from here, especially if you look at this stone and how close it is to that stone, you can see what I mean with it not looking different enough from the walls. So we're gonna have to do this whole section. I'll do that a bit later, I think. When I do the tower, I'll do this bit here as well, the edges of it. Now this is the bit where I am completely stuck. I don't know what to do here. How do I make this kind of merge together without looking too unnatural? Oh man, we are getting somewhere with this. We're getting somewhere with this. It's not perfect, but that's not the goal here. After all, I don't think anything organic is ever meant to look perfect. So I guess the further away from perfect it the further away from perfect it is, the better of a job I've done? Question mark. I guess it could be perfectly organic, but we're just going down a rabbit hole here. I don't mind this bit as much anymore. Not sure. This feels kind of like too much of a flat wall. Maybe? I don't know. But this is going to be a bit more tricky on this side here because we're kind of transitioning here from this very rough cliff face to the sort of grassy, snowy hills here. And I don't know how to do that. I think my goal here is kind of just to cover up as much of the dirt as I can. So that's what I've done here on this wall. It had a lot of exposed dirt kind of like this. And I decided to cover it up because I really don't love the way that looks, like just the dirt blocks showing. But how do I turn all of this stone into grass? How do we transition that? Especially because it's all gonna snow over. So it's gonna be all white, I guess? I'm gonna start digging a little bit, and where the grass was, I'm gonna keep putting down stone, I guess. Let's add a waterfall right there. It just looks like a good spot for waterfall. It's looking a bit boring here with the amount of rock, and I can't be bothered replacing all of that stone. So this seems like a perfect opportunity to take these hot springs we have here and maybe somehow incorporate them into going down this way. Some sort of waterfall. We'll figure out the connection later, but for now, yes, that will wash away my torches down there, but I'll fix it in a bit. For now, let us. I need a different pick. Oh, I don't have a different pick for now, and I'm just gonna cover this so it doesn't freeze. Let's see what that looks like from further away. That's nice. It breaks up a little bit, especially because I'm gonna replace a lot of the dirt on this side with rock as well. That does break it up a bit. It's not an angle we look at things very often because there's nothing on this hill. In fact, I'm even considering demolishing this entire hill, but it's a lot of effort. Yeah. I think that helps. I almost want to have several waterfalls or a bigger waterfall. Because that one line of water is a bit boring. Could have Ooh, I'm full of ideas. We have rescued the sheep. My god. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty good. I almost want to have like a rock sticking out and splitting this waterfall into two. If we just go up here a little bit, this specific bit here, if we oh no, don't do that. How do we fix that? No, I hate this mechanic in Minecraft. Stop it. I wanted to be splitting the water streams instead of going bigger. Oh dear. How do I fix this now? I need to reset the water. Yeah. You've still not reset. Oh my god. Right, let's try this. What happens here? Oh, nope, it goes over the rock mostly. Some of it sticks out though. Hmm. I'm sure there's a very specific way to do this to kind of do the thing I'm envisioning. Yeah, that looks bad. That's not going to work. Maybe I need to move the water stream one block itself. Oh, I got completely distracted. But it looks so good. I was so happy I did this. Yes. I actually added in quite a few different water sources here, split things up a bit. I figured that's easier than using like the same one block of water and trying to sort of control it and get it to go to different ways. If that wasn't working, but this absolutely is working. I definitely need to work more on like the rocky bit around here and add some like mossy cobble and maybe some sort of what are they called? Glow lichens? Yeah, glow lichens and other stuff you can use to decorate. But I'll do that in a little bit. In fact, that's a very good point. I'm going to need to glow lichen a lot of this place and also come up with different ways of lighting it because in the process of making this cliff, I have completely removed all the torches, and every time it falls dark, it goes to nighttime. I sprint for the bed because I just know things are gonna spawn all over the place here, especially because the rest of my base is really well lit up, and basically any little dark spot gets all the mobs because it doesn't get split up evenly across dark places around the base. It gets very concentrated in one area, and yeah, but it's coming together for sure. This is potentially the worst lichen farm ever known to exist because I just I just break the leaves as well. It's so annoying. Why does it look good but not work at all? I am not gonna use this. It's horrible. What was I thinking? My shears are just too fast. I need a different place to bone meal these guys. I'm just gonna head in here. The sniffer pen. Let's also add a pickle farm. The list of things we need to... Oh god, I can't do this. The list of things we need to get done. You see this waterfall? Memorize it. Look at it. Look what it looks like now because we are gonna do a super sick, super cool transition shot before and after. And there it is. Look at this, guys. I worked so hard. I worked so hard on this, and I think it's turned out pretty well. I mean, what a difference, right? We have so much more greenery going on here, a little bit more detail as well. So I decided to go for the route of the moss blocks. That's what I meant to say. The root of the moss blocks joining in with the grass color here. And you know, it's maybe a little bit odd because it does not match the color of the grass in snowy biomes, especially with the grass sticking out on top of the moss blocks. But it's okay. It's still a fairly smooth transition, and the mossy stone, the tuff, the lichen there, they all kind of help to kind of blend it all together. And then we do have a quite a steep change here between the black kind of stone, yeah, the deep slate and the mud and everything. But I think it still works. And of course, we've got the waterfalls for a bit of detail here. I added some walls. That's a wall. That's a wall. That's a wall there, right there. So I think that helps with kind of breaking up the blockiness of the build. I did go down a little bit down here into the details, but I haven't touched this wall at all. Don't know what I'm doing with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with the kelp farm, if I even want to keep it there. I might change it. I don't know. It's a problem for another day. I also worked in here a bit more, and you'll notice these leaves. These actually have pickles. 3 of them in most, I think. Is it 3 pickles? There is a leaf there. Is it hard to see? It's a bit hard to see. Yeah, 3 pickles, I think, in most of these bushes, and that is the perfect amount of light to stop mobs from spawning without it being too bright and melting the snow, because I want some of the snow to remain here. We'll probably get a bit more snow. Is this also 3 pickles? Yes. We'll probably get a bit more snow around here once it actually does snow. How many more times can I say that word? But yeah, I added them everywhere with a bit of lichen as well. So I think we're fairly mob proof now in nighttime, which is good. I also worked a little bit on this area. Let's jump down to have a look. Mostly worked on sort of building up this tower down. And creating this transition between the bricks of the tower, like the very obviously man-made material, into something a bit more natural. And it's not great because it follows the shape of the tower exactly, so it does look a bit fake. So I'm gonna need to add some boulders or something imperfect about this because it's very much just the shape of the tower. So yeah, but I think it's a good start. It's definitely a good start. And I think I'm gonna take a little break from terraforming now. I will come back to this once I have a few more ideas on how to integrate this. And I also really want to build the wall, at least like from here to the big gate. And then from the big gate to maybe the Magician's Tower. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see how much time we have. But I think I want to go for that. Although before we start the wall, let's have another look at this section because I am really proud of it, and I think the further away you go, the better it looks. Oh, I think it's so nice. I think it's also important to consider what it looks like when you're walking on the paths. So this is the view from our paths. We do have this annoying hill that I've not decided what to do with. That kind of covers a lot of the cliffside. But the little bits that are kind of peeking through, I think look really good at a distance. And of course, when we get elytra, we're never going to see it from this eye level, but I think it looks good from this eye level. You know what? That natural coal, I was thinking when I was texturing around it, natural coal looks really good there, but I don't have any blocks myself of coal ore to put in as texturing, but that really works. Ignore the fact this guy is in the table. He looks like he's actually using our little restaurant bit down here. Oh dear, guys, we had an audio issue. It's happened, a technical fault. First one of many. It's not first one. It's in fact it's not even second or third or fourth one. But first one in a little while for me actually. I think like a really bad fault. Uh the audio was all jumbled up on the footage, so we've cut it. And kind of good because looking back at it, I don't think it was the best content. So yeah, happy for that. I built the wall. I just went ahead and built it. It was all kind of explained in the footage, but I'm not going to redo it all. I'll just kind of quickly sum up my thoughts here because we are running out of time this episode. So I guess the big reveal should be when I'm jumping down here. Ta-da! This is not the final version of it at all. As you can see, there's still floating parts. Terrain down here is not finished, and it desperately needs a little bit more detail and like glow lichens and like little bits of the wall that are maybe falling off or crumbling or other stuff. And also this bit here in between the tower and the wall, I think needs reworked. I don't love the way it's connecting just now. That's why it's kind of looking unfinished because I wasn't sure if I want to keep this portion off the wall. But other than that, I mean, same color palette, same blocks, same thought process behind the palette. And yeah, I mean, it blends in well. I still really love the color palette, so happy with that. Currently, as it stands, I can't build any more wall anywhere because I am pretty much out of quartz. This is all that I have. And I need normal quartz blocks, which require a lot of emeralds because I do not want to go in nether and and get nether quartz that way. And my pumpkin supplies are dwindling for my emeralds. So next episode we're gonna do something to do with pumpkins and emeralds. Oh, it's a pumpkin farm. What was I saying? It's October and it's gonna be a pumpkin farm. Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up here for today's episode. I actually spent so much time on the terraforming part of it. This wall also took a decent chunk of time, but it was a little bit more mindless than everything else I did. So I'm gonna have to wrap up here for today. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you have any feedback, suggestions, or anything you want to say, as long as it's not too mean, because I am a sensitive person. If you have anything you want to add about the terraforming process, it's really basically my first time doing anything of this scale. And I think it's turned out okay. I can still see flaws with it. I just don't know how to improve it, if that makes sense. I can tell some things are not right. I don't know how to fix what's not right. So any feedback would be much appreciated so we can get better at the skill of Minecraft, which I've never done. Overall, I'm quite happy. I didn't get around to actually finishing off these castle bits, so I'm gonna do that off camera in between episodes, hopefully. And yeah, thank you again. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.